Well, hello, everyone from all over the world. We are so happy to see you today and to bring you Carol and Joe Felger in our first year series. I'm Colleen Keelton. I'm a Relive distributor. I've been with the company for over 25 years. And Joe and Carol Felger are the hardest working, best examples of human beings and Relive distributors that I can even fathom. They're wonderful. And I am absolutely delighted and honored to introduce. I see Carol there. I don't know if Joe is with her, but I'm going to turn it over to Carol and invite you to share your story and then go a little deeper and maybe bring up some things that were maybe hilarious, personal growth experiences and things. And then we'll open it up for questions if we have time. So that's it for me.
Oh, well,
Welcome,
great.
Carol.
Colleen and everybody, welcome. This is exciting to be with you all here this afternoon. I think it's a great series that you're doing about the first year because we had a distributor one time say, it was great to kind of hear your beginning deals. He said, because, we kind of just feel like you were born into that position. It's really funny to all of us because we understand that we start like everybody else starts with wobbly legs, all excited. I love horses, so my analogy is always that when the best racehorse in the world, when they're born, they've got wobbly legs and they need instruction, but with all of that and desire can go on and be great. Joe is joining us. I gave him the technical things. I just hope it all works out with that, but I think he'll be joining us. But just to get started, Joe and I got started back in 1992, which is going to be in April, 30 years. And my background was a dental hygienist. I had a 10-year career doing that. Joe worked at WGN television, theaters as a projectionist. I made a good living in those careers, but what we didn't have was time. And time is your most valuable asset. You can always find a way to earn an income, but you can't get time back. Once it's gone, it's gone. And I guess the older that you get, the more you realize how valuable that is. And I'll be forever grateful that Joe always had the belief and the desire that there had to be something out there that we could do together. So we were praying for 5 years. We looked at franchises, bed and breakfast, lots of stuff, late night TV stuff. Kind of embarrassing now, but we were looking everywhere to see what would fit for us. And our problem was we had great incomes, but we were separated on the time clock. We were two ships passing in the night. And when we were introduced to Relive, we were working on a project, and one of the guys in that project was so excited. And excitement maybe isn't even the proper word, passion. He had passion extraordinaire. But of course, we were focused at the time. And like some folks you may run into, we had preconceived ideas about nutrition, about network marketing. And so immediately, the big wall came down, and we told them we can't do that in the meeting here, and poured lots of cold water on him. But I'll tell you, one of the key things that got to us was there was no chink in his armor. None of the stuff that we threw at him took at all. In fact, it was a response of, "You must be crazy." And and eventually we thought, I still think he's crazy, but what if he's right? And my husband's a good guy, Joe, and he said, Carol, he's in a new business. We can go and just take a look at, what he's, interested. So we did. We went to a meeting, and if all of you, if you've done that, it's just informational. The quality of the people impressed us, but I was blown away by the stories. I had no idea, and nobody does, about the range of the health stories, the business stories. And so we did 100, we went in with a crossed-armed attitude. We came out as distributors and getting started on the products. And so what really also impressed us was the mentorship, because we had no business background, no sales, no nutrition, no network marketing experience. So we had no qualifications for this. But by using that success system and that mentorship, which is part of that, within, the first month, just part-time, we recouped our investment, made a $1,500 profit. Within 16 months, that was over $8,000 a month. And I might say back then, the compensation plan was 54432. No star director program, no ambassador program. But our largest year so far has been 1.2 million. And guys, that blows me away. We didn't grow up in that neighborhood, never dreamed really, because we didn't have any concept of that. But I can tell you this, from the very start of Relive, the lifestyle has been priceless to
And
us.
I get to share that, right?
Yes. Aha, there you are. And you did it. I'm so proud of you.
You set it up. All I had to do was, let's see, I got to get there. Is that better?
You're even standing on the side of a road to talk to us. That's real commitment.
I am. I'm standing. That's a road coming down from Grand Targhee. And those mountains behind us is what you see when the house we're building. We have 4 huge windows, 8 by 12, which the contractors said we couldn't get in that climate. But you know, I think if Relive has taught us anything, is don't believe people when they say you can't get it or can't do it. And so we got these 4 huge 8 by 12 windows in the house that look right out on those mountains and on the ski hill. And yeah, it's really neat. We're going to, at the end, I think we're going to talk a little bit about an idea we have, right, Carol?
Yeah.
The lifestyle. I get to talk about the lifestyle. The number one benefit in the lifestyle is that in the last 30 years, I'm going to move to 30 now. I'm past 29 almost. In the last 30 years, I have gotten to spend more time with Carol than people that have been married 60 years. And you can't put a price on that, guy. So, I mean, why do any of us go to work? You know, obviously we want to enjoy what we do. Emily, you were a teacher and you love doing it. I didn't love what I do, and most people don't love what they do. I made a ridiculous amount of money doing it, and had no college, no sales, no business background. So I was kind of captured by the money I was making, because you do learn to live on your income. And gee, I was looking down at those trees. I should be looking at you guys. But you know, you do get captured, you know, by what you learn to live on. And Carol and I were looking for a way to change that, and Relive gave us that. And it was an answer to prayer, quite frankly. We'd prayed for 5 years for it. But guys, I wish somebody had followed us around with a camera. We've got a lot of slides and, you know, videos and stuff, but I wish somebody could have followed us around with a camera to record all of the different things that are incorporated in this business. You know, even the meetings on Tuesdays and Saturdays here in Chicago, and then the meetings that we went out and helped start and participated in around the country with people like Phil and Betty and Terry and Gayla. Oh, I mean, the people you meet, the friends you make, it's amazing. But guys, we've got a night. Sometime we'll have to take time for me to share our night and our last night in Fiji with you on our first trip there. We've been there 3 times, but I'll have to share that with you. It is out of a Hollywood movie, kind of fun. And for you gals, guys are romantic too. It was a really romantic time. But the lifestyle, guys, is what we were looking for. And it provided so much more than that, than we could have ever dreamed, I should say. And so we're excited to be here with you today. And do you guys, are they going to ask questions, or what's going on, Emily?
Well, what are some of the funny stories, the mishaps, the things you learned, you know, all that good behind the scenes stuff, you know, so that you're not, like you said, Carol, you didn't become you didn't be born the racehorse, you know, you gave that picture of the wobbly legs. What are some of those stories? So we can say, oh, okay, then I can do it too.
Yeah, we're just like you guys, really. Carol, why don't you share what you want to share, and then I already know one of the things I want to share.
Okay.
And really just to help people understand we're just like you.
And I hope, yeah, and I hope you take away from this meeting here that no person is born or anointed into, or only certain people can do this. The only difference truly between where Joe and I are at and where you're at is just time and doing the proper things that allow you the duplication part of it. That's really the key. But my funniest one, you tickled my funny bone when we've got a lot of funny stories, but we actually would have told you we were strong at this point in our business, but you'll laugh because there's degrees, and we had been doing some cold market and kind of warm cold market things. And one of these guys that answered it was a very skeptical lawyer from Chicago. And just to give you an idea how skeptical he was that, as I was setting up where we're going to meet at McDonald's, and that I had shared that, you'll get a chance to meet my husband. And he said, oh, no, I don't want to be on the hot seat. And I said, no offense, but we're making whatever we're making at that time. And so I said, it's not about that, but I don't know you. And
over $1 million a year, Carol.
Yeah, I thought it was at that time, and so it's not about putting you on a hot seat, and stuff, and so as we go along, oh my gosh, I have never done such intense follow up in my life, with it, but his son's getting great results with asthma, and about 4 times he's going to come to a meeting, and finally this week he shows up at this Tuesday night meeting. I'm like, yeah, I got this. And so somebody is doing the front half, did a great job. Somebody did the back half, did a great job. And but
you were doing the back half, Carol.
Oh, that's right. I was doing the back half, and
forget the story.
I got ahead of myself. Thank you. That's why working as a couple.
Hey, can I jump in?
No.
No, I got to jump in here and share. This guy, he just wasn't, I can't even explain it. I didn't like him. And he's kind of full of himself. He's one of those people, if you buy him for what he's worth, sell him for what he thinks he's worth, you'd never have to work again. So Carol, God bless her, she did do great follow-up with this guy. I never talked to him. Didn't want to talk to him. Didn't want to work with him. I was afraid he'd come into the business. And so he finally comes out to this meeting, and we had our chairs set up in 3 different sections, kind of coming down like a theater. And on the one side, right in front of the microphone where people tell their story, there were only 4 chairs at the front side. And Carol was sitting on the aisle. He's sitting on the aisle. Carol's sitting beside him, and I'm sitting beside Carol, so I don't have to be near the guy. And then I don't remember who was on the right of me. And so it comes time for Carol to go up and do the back half.
So I'm standing in the back there.
And now there's no chair between this guy I just love and me.
And so all the health stories have been great. And I'm looking as the last person is getting up, and I'm thinking, I've never seen that person before. And as I'm looking at her, I'm thinking, she's kind of odd shaped. She almost looks like E.T. She's got a big head and long, skinny body. And I'm thinking, oh, Carol, that's a terrible thing to
Her arms her fingers, when she stood there, came down below her knees.
And so she gets up to the microphone and she goes, hi, I'm from the planet Relive. And then she does this jump to the side and she goes, all my other friends are from the Sicko planet, and I'm like, oh my golly, I've never seen this gal before. An alien has come to our meeting.
But she didn't say it very clearly, Carol. And we were all trying to figure out, does she work at Citgo gas station or what?
and she does this like 4 times. I'm from the planet Relive, jumps over, and I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, now I got to do the second half of the meeting, so I gotta, have not a panic face, but inside I'm thinking and picturing this match. Just put a match to everything that I did with follow-up, that it's over at this point. And what did you do, Joe, when you reached over?
She went on and on and on and on. I mean, she was up there 5 minutes, jumping back and forth.
We were ready to get the cane to bring her off the stage.
Here we are. We're making a serious amount of money. We get up, we do training. Don't get nervous. Don't, no matter how bad the meeting is, it won't matter and I panicked. I hadn't talked to this guy in 3 months since the first meeting. And it literally, why are we getting now? I did it. Is my audio up too high or yours?
Well, I think somebody else might have 2 devices on.
Okay. So seriously, I just went, Bill, I've never seen this woman before in my life. And then I just went back looking at her.
and
thank God she finally ended.
So after that, I come off, and guess what?
All my work is down the drain, right?
Yeah, it's gone, torch it. And so I go back there, and guess what happened? The attorney, his name was Bill, went master. I don't know. I guess being an attorney, he saw a lot of characters. Maybe he thought it was more real that way or something. But here's a great principle.
So as it turns out, Carol, we were actually telling the truth at training all that time, and I don't know that we realized it. Doesn't matter how bad your meeting is.
And the monsters in your mind are always worse than what reality is, And but that was the first and last time that an alien, and I can say an alien visited our Tuesday night meeting, because never saw her again. But go ahead, Joe.
Tell your story. I'll tell the second story real quick, but I got 2 stories I got to get in. One, we were in the business probably, it was our 3rd conference. So about 1.5 years. And we were asked to do a class, and we were busy growing our business. And Carol ended up putting the whole thing together. I was just too busy doing different things. And neither one of us are public speakers. And I stayed home from school when I had to give oral book reports. You'd appreciate that, Emily. But Buckeye's signaling me here that he wants something, Carol. I'm not sure what it is.
Pretty much food.
I hope it's not anything serious.
No.
But at any rate, guys, comes the conference, and I figured, I'll go through the slides because we always go in a day early. I'll go through the slides when we're at conference. Well, everybody shows up at your suite, and we're greeting people and telling stories, and so it didn't happen the first day. We were up to like 2 a.m, 3 a.m. So I thought, I'll go through them at breakfast. Well, people came up for breakfast. We didn't get that done. So I thought, I'll go through them Friday night. Well, Friday night we had the dinner, and so that didn't happen. And he's really bugging me, Carol. At any rate, maybe he just wondered why I'm so excited. But
yeah. So
finally comes time for the meeting. We're doing we're the first up to do the first class at this conference. And I'm telling you guys, I thought, I'll get up at 4 a.m. and I'll go through those slides. And I was so nervous. And because this is the first big class we've done in front of, a fairly good sized group of people, a couple thousand. And I said, Carol, I can't go over there. I just can't. Call Pat. He's got to do it. I can't go. And she's, oh, no, you can do it. And I mean, like right up to 10 minutes before, I don't know how Carol got me over to that classroom. And course, there's something about it when you get up there. There actually is an audio tape of it, but if you hear at the beginning, you can actually hear my voice shaking. But once you start getting into it and you're just talking, and I think Carol's the one that said it to me, just talk about what we did. And because, you're not trying to teach something you don't know about. And all of that nervousness went away. And I share that story because I think a lot of new people, whether it's doing a meeting or a training, they get nervous and think that, they're going to mess it up. Well, the two stories show you can't be messed up. We were doing a meeting out in Pennsylvania. Carol thinks it was in Florida. She could be right. I was standing in the back of the room. I had done the front half. Carol's doing the back half. And I'm standing back there watching the meeting. And, I don't know, guys have at the bottom of their pockets in their pants, they leave this little piece of cloth that's stitched. I don't know how they sew the thing together. And you get lint in your pocket sometimes. And didn't have any money or cards or anything in there. And I'm back there and I've got my hand in my pocket. I'm playing with that little piece. There was some lint I wanted to get out of there. So I'm not even thinking about it. I'm really listening to Carol.
I got to jump in here.
Okay, you jump in now.
I'm doing the training, and with couples, you kind of have different signals, sometimes. And Joe's digging around in his pocket, and I'm thinking, what is he trying to tell me? Now, women, we can think about different things at the same time, but he keeps doing it. And I'm thinking, I'm not getting the signal. It must be that I'm not hitting on the business strong enough. He's talking about that. So I am just laying it out, but he keeps doing it. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what in the world is he trying to signal to me?
You got to be stronger about the business, Carol.
And and so finally, you can do a couple things at one time, but eventually what happens is that was taking over too much of my brain. And then I said, Joe, what is it? What is it?
I mean, guys, I got to take over here. She was so frustrated. She said, I give up, Joe. What is it you're trying to tell me? And at that point, everybody in the room turns around and looks at me. And by that point, I have pulled the pocket inside out. It's outside my pants. And I can see why she's thinking I'm trying to talk about the money, And I've got the pockets and I'm standing there and everybody's looking at me. I said, I was just trying to get the lint out of my pocket. And of course, the whole room broke up. But again, I think sometimes people forget to have fun when we're doing this. I mean, we didn't do that as a comedy act. It's just funny things happen and we take ourselves too seriously sometimes.
Yep.
Well, what do we got? We got a product that's changing people's lives. And we get to share not only the products, but the opportunity to change their lives so other people can go to Fiji or Europe or wherever it is that the business takes them. And it's amazing where this can take you. And it doesn't matter who you are. Again,
and I think it's so true. You took me back just there, Joe, to the vision. We worked, with Pat, with Jimmy, Tommy, and they would lay out the vision that, what, guys, now we're all, at that point, I'm kind of going back where we're not presidential directors, we're, working in this, but the vision was, what, we're all going to have our incredible places. Somebody's going to have a beach, on an island. Somebody's going to have a place in the Alps. Somebody's going to have a place, in the Baja, and what we're going to do.
It's happened.
And yeah. He said that the only time that, now this is back before a lot of the technology, but the only reason we're ever going to, go to town is to pick up our checks, and, so we had a lot of fun together and the camaraderie. I remember again, Joe, when we were out doing appointments, talking about, because you're still, have some kind of question if this is going to happen for you. And I said, worst case scenario, Joe, we've had a lot of fun, doing this. But with that, I don't want to diss that we had a commitment. We had a big vision. We had,
It was going to be work.
yeah, work ethic. That, it is so true that the harder you work, the luckier you get.
That was Pat.
Yeah. And
we called him Solomon because he always had these things. And guys, it is work, but it's the most fun work you'll ever do.
yeah.
And it's yours. We learned more about this business probably after doing meetings with Pat, because we'd have a cup of coffee or something, or if we were on the phone, we would just talk, because sometimes there were 3 ways. And today, guys, we have the opportunity is so much larger because of this. We've got Zoom. We couldn't bring somebody to a meeting that was more than 30 miles away, 40 miles away. And, how are they going to bring guests every week? Now we've got Zoom. My golly, you can bring somebody from across the United States, from the Philippines, from Canada, Mexico. On Saturdays, there's time difference. On Saturdays, you can bring them from Europe. It's absolutely amazing. And
the personal growth that everybody goes through is incredible as well too. To make that story a little funnier of what Joe said about me getting him up there is that in the very beginning, the only way Pat got me to share my health story, just my health story in the beginning, because I never thought that I would have to get up. I don't know. I never thought I'd have to get up and share. He said, Carol, Chicago was started basically by guys. We need women to get up there and share. And so there is a point in your business where you have to step up. You have to step out of your comfort level, out of your fears. And believe me, all of us, it is not easy. True courage is not having fear. True courage is having fear and still doing it. And I remember getting up there, I was hyperventilating, sweating. My heart was beating about, 500 beats a minute. And if they ever taped it, which I don't think they did, but I was ums and ahs and totally uncomfortable. I think for at least a year when we were on stage or whatever, going up, bless his heart, I would tell Joe, you talk. I'm not talking. You talk. And if you ever see it, I'm actually kind of a little bit hiding behind his shoulder, as he's the shield, kind of thing. And so that makes the other story kind of funny, because I was like, you got to go to this meeting here, I
know we're getting down. We got 2 minutes here.
Oh,
I would love, we've done a lot of talking here. I'd love to have had people ask questions, but Emily ought to set this up again, and people could bring new people. We'll do a shorter version of our story. Won't talk the whole time, and then maybe people could ask questions. But whoops, my power just went out, Carol.
Okay, well, I'll pick it up. Just maybe in closing.
No, what I want you to talk about, Carol, is why we're building the house.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, guys, in this day and age of, some things going on, that part of the reason that we originally were building that house out there is we looked at it as being used as kind of a relive house. And so for people who hit presidential director, they would get a chance to be out there. We'd take them around Yellowstone and all sorts of places, to really experience the lifestyle. They do a thing over in Europe called Millionaires Weekend. And what it does is they go to a fancy place, a resort, and kind of show what it's really like to be there, and it helps in your vision part of it. And so we're very excited about having that for people. And Lord willing, we'll be hopefully starting the finish process this year with it out there. But that's our exciting point. I probably just leave in closing a couple of thoughts of what we've learned in this business. And it applies to every area of life. Growth is not easy, but it is so priceless to you once you've gone through it. Where there is a will, there is a way. And building the house, as Joe said, you know, people say, oh, that can't be done. You can't get those. Okay. What you start to realize is sometimes people, either for their convenience or they don't know, have an answer. You got to do a little work. You can't just trust the experts or whatever. You've got to do that. And it overcomes just about every obstacle as well. The monsters in your mind are always worse than reality. That's a biggie. And being able to, if you're willing to serve people, and this goes with people you initially talk to, but if you're willing, it's really true what Bob says. If you're willing to help enough other people get what they want, you'll get what you want. People can always tell where you're coming from. Now, all of us are looking at building a business, but at the end of the day, it really is, they can tell. And the joy of this business, one of the reasons Joe and I still do this, is you never, ever get tired of seeing, I kind of describe it, people blossoming like a bloom on a flower. And with all of us working together, it's the two horse kind of thing. One horse can only pull 2,000 pounds, but together we can get the word out about Relive. And I'll tell you what, when you can leave that kind of legacy in other people's lives, I don't think it gets any better than that. So
let's go build it together, guys.
That's Joe.
So we definitely need to do this again where we can just keep it going. This is wonderful. Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, our blessing.
And thanks, Colleen, for your vision and your setting this whole thing up. This is a great platform. It's really fun.
And thank you, Joe and Carol. Amazing.
Thank
we
you,
know
thank
you're
you.
busy and we love you.
Love you.
Thank you. God bless you guys.
Don't be afraid of working with aliens.
One other quick thing.